Hello. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Welcome back to FireCast Season 1, Episode 10 with my co-host DZ.
What's cracking?
And we've got our first milestone, man, when we got back on the show, Mr.Meegley.
Return to the Meegs, boys. Thanks for having me back on.
And this is fucking exciting, boys. We've got Yoda.
It's been a long time coming.
Oh, fucking hell. So this was our first idea originally, eh? Even at work, Meegley, me and you were like, as soon as we get to Episode 10, we do Star Wars.
Yeah.
I forgot to put the hands on.
No. Fuck.
Oh, look. I'm struggling over here anyway.
We get the point. He's committed. He's committed to the scene.
So, fuck, boys, where the fuck do we begin? There is endless amount of topics we can talk about.
Yeah, so
Star Wars.
I think firstly, obviously, we're talking about Star Wars. For the people that are gonna, turn us off or, don't like Star Wars, give it a crack, give it a go. The biggest thing I can say is a lot of people, there's a big stigma with Star Wars. You either love it or you haven't watched it because you think it's the biggest, nerdiest and gayest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't knock it till you try it. That's all it is. You really got to try for yourself, man. You might like it.
I mean, this is also a warning too for people. This is going to be spoilers. For many movies, books, TV shows.
You haven't watched the Clone Wars,
comics.
Rebels.
So that is the warning. We will obviously say what we're talking about before we start talking about it. So if you haven't seen something, you can switch it off or whatever. But yeah, I have been messaged by a few people saying they're excited for this. So
me too, surprisingly.
Well, first thing I guess I want to bring up is something that me and Meegs talk about all the time is how good the Clone Wars was. The animated show, by the way. Now, this is the thing that a lot of people tell me as well, that the Clone Wars, not the second film, right? The animated TV show, so the cartoon, right? And a lot of people, the first thing they say to me when I tell them I've watched it, they go, "Oh, it's a cartoon. Like, you watch a kid's cartoon? Nah. This shit was fucking wild." I'm talking like what fucking Jedi were dying and getting their fucking arms chopped off. Clone troopers are shooting people and shit. Like, it was, that shit got wild, eh?
A big call here, but I've said this to a lot of Star Wars fans and they agree with me that if you've watched it, the Clone Wars is better than all of the movies. I don't care what you say. In my eyes, they have 6 seasons. This is just Clone Wars to capture all these amount of stories. They convey the same points as the movies, but more. Instead of only saying maybe you might really like Kit Fisto, for example, and you see him for an episode, but in Clone Wars, you get more profiling into these other characters. And they introduced Ahsoka Tano, who is probably one of the greatest characters, Star Wars has ever created. And it was nice. Instead of just seeing Anakin go from good to evil, you get to really see him being what everyone wanted him to be, a master, and he trained a Padawan, and it was... Oh, it's awesome, man. The Clone Wars is absolutely incredible, and the amount of Star Wars fans that say they love Star Wars, and I say, "You seen the Clone Wars?" and they say, "No." Honestly, that is your top priority. I don't care what you do. That you have to watch it. It is. I'm telling you, you're not a true Star Wars fan until you watch that. In my opinion,
You've seen it, ADZ.
Of course I've seen it. The Clone Wars it was like adding so much depth to like the characters in their prime. And you really get to see the transition of Anakin and show him why he became Darth Vader. It's mad. And same with Rebels too, I think, to a lesser extent. But
Rebels is so underrated.
I haven't seen it yet still. I've seen bits of it.
Oh my God.
I haven't watched the full thing.
That's another top priority. I'm telling you, haven't you just recently, Iggy, rewatched it? So I've rewatched Rebels 3 times because my favourite character is Darth Maul, and they really convey Darth Maul as a villain, and they give him that like Sidious type of Vader type role, and he's the main like sub villain in the whole of the Rebels, and it really touches on and goes back into the past. Like I remember the example, spoiler alert here, that Obi-Wan Kenobi scene where he fights Darth Maul in the end in Rebels. Sorry, Dylan, for spoiling that there. Yeah, if you've seen that, like, and straight away when Iggy's like, "Mike, have you seen that fight?" And you have a look and you piece together, like if you quickly piece together that fight, he pulled off the move that
so quickly
that Darth Maul did on Qui-Gon Jinn, and like just little things like that, man. Like they connect it back to that main story, and you go, "Holy crap, that was so ridiculous!"
The huge thing, which was fucking awesome for me, which I didn't pick it up straight away when I watched it. When I watched the fight again, that's when I picked it up, and I don't know if I messaged him. I messaged him. The way Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul was the same way Obi-Wan changed his fighting stance to Qui-Gon's stance.
And he combat.
And he killed him the way Qui-Gon attempted to do that move. And that took, and when I picked that up, I was like, wait. Because everyone knows that Obi-Wan's stance is the whole finger point with the thing, but in the Rebels, so Qui-Gon's stance was the one where like he steps out a bit to the right and he holds the sword, like the saber high. And then he did that and I was like, wait a second. I was like, holy fuck. And then it started stemming on the internet and all the memes and shit. And I was like, oh my God. And that all stems from Dave Filoni being a fucking genius. And he single-handedly carrying Star Wars on his fucking shoulders. And he's really amped it back up, especially with Mandalorian.
Oh, bro.
Man,
that's a big topic to talk about too.
Far out.
I got a question about the animated stuff. What is your favorite fight, bro? Because I love going and watching the fights. Mine's, bro, Sidious versus Maul and Savage.
Savage.
That's the best fight.
Yeah, that fight is crazy. But here's my one, and it was in the latest season of Clone Wars. Was Ahsoka versus Darth Maul. That 4-episode arc is the greatest 4 episodes ever. I was watching this thing. I was tanked, and I was watching this thing in my bed, going, holy crap! I was sweating, and I was honestly, that whole scene and the fact that they can convey. They take it back into a time where before Order 66 was executed, and you're actually seeing this shit go live. You're seeing it go live, and you're seeing, because everyone's like, yeah, all right, Ahsoka wasn't in the movies. What was she doing? They brought Darth Maul back to life. What's he doing? And the fact that he kind of tries to, say, I just thought that was incredible.
So
and
cool.
That fight scene was good, man. Like the lightsaber action in all of like Rebels and Clone Wars, like was really good. Even when Ezra's master, what's his name? The guy that.
Kanan.
Kanan, yeah, when he's blind in the fight scenes they combine with him, like they're two very, very underrated characters. Like honestly, I rate Rebels so highly with the new characters they introduced and just how good that was. But yeah, Dylan brings up a good point. The fights are crazy. They're so crazy.
What's your favorite fight?
That's so hard, isn't it?
I wish Grievous had more, man. He's my favorite character. But they did him so dirty in the movies, bro.
Even in the series, all he's doing is running. He's just running.
Originally, he was like a crazy Jedi killer. I wish we seen more of that. Like in the 2003 Clone Wars where Mace crushes his chest, like the Legends one. Grievous is crazy. He's full killing all these Jedis in that one. But they changed him.
But it's same in the movies. The Darth Maul, he was meant to be the next biggest thing, and he got one movie and didn't get enough time to shine. That's what I like about the cartoon. It gives these characters their time. But Iggy, there's got to be one that sticks out in your mind that we haven't mentioned for sure, bro.
There's heaps.
Fuck, there's honestly so fucking many. It's so hard.
Even Yoda in the movies in Revenge of the Sith has good fights. Yoda versus
even Yoda
Sidious.
Sidious.
Or even what's Ventress? She has some great fights in her early. She has some very good
Ventress
early.
Great.
She's a great character. Ventress is
excellent. And even when she kind of to realize that the Siths just use and abuse, and they'll find the next best thing, and then you get tossed away. I thought that was really good.
Build, really.
Yeah, 100%, man. There was even like thinking now. There's just so many fights. Even I thought in Rebels what they did so well was where they got all those what do they call them? All the guys with lightsabers that they work Inquisitors, all the Inquisitors are just always on the gun. They were some really good fights in because every different Inquisitor had a different lightsaber power that they would do. Like one guy would be able to fly with his lightsaber.
Yeah, that was weird.
The next that was weird. But I loved all that stuff. And then you get to that village and all of a sudden there's a man in a cloak. I'm like, who the hell is this? And he takes the thing off and it's more, and I'm just sitting there like cheering up in the air. Like I think they just do a really good job at bringing out your emotion. Like if you're a big Star Wars fan, they always, hinting and picking up on things like that.
Yeah.
The thing too, you go ahead.
Then I go.
Well, the thing too is like if you're not that big into Star Wars, you don't want to watch the shows. Like it's more rewarding if you do, because like even in Rogue One, where Maul's at the end, a lot of people were confused about that. People who didn't watch the cartoons are like, isn't he dead? How's he here?
Exactly.
So like, seeing that was so cool for me.
I've got a theory. I'm going to say it before I forget it. I told this to Meegley at work. So if you haven't seen Clone Wars, right, at the end, spoiler, once again, this is fucking going to be spoilers galore, right? But
strap in.
If you fucking at the end of Clone Wars, right, when Ahsoka and Maul fight and Maul escapes, right? Now listen, hear me out. He gets picked up by a ship, right? Random ship. Now, yes, we all know that droids can drive ships and people can call their ships with little fucking things and like little remotes and stuff. But I was thinking, well, fuck, wouldn't it be so cool if so you know how the whole time that bitch in Rogue One at the end of it ends up, I don't know if it's Rogue One or the other one, and she ends up reporting to Maul.
Yeah,
at the very end, Rogue One 8.
Wasn't it the chick from Han Solo?
No, it's Emilia Clarke, the girl who plays the Khaleesi in Game of Thrones.
Then that's that's Han Solo.
Yeah,
That's
Solo.
I thought so.
At the end, she reports to Maul, and everyone was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And Maul's in a hologram. What if it was her that come and pick Maul up to help him escape?
Everything they do, they piece together.
Yes.
Example, even in the last film, if you have a real good look, the Ghost ship, which is a ship that Hera
Syndulla, yep.
she drives that. That's in the movie at the end, and I knew that was going to come up because they're alive in that time and era. So like the connecting and the piecing, and the thing is, yes, it's cartoon, but you got to look past that because the thing is, it's Star Wars. Connected. There's so much more stuff coming out. An example, if you popped up and you've seen in The Mandalorian, Ahsoka. You'd know her story from there, and you'd know the reason that she said that she couldn't train Grogu is because she actually has her own mission of her own. And remember, at the end of Rebels, she's actually searching for
Thrawn.
yeah, she's searching for Ezra and she's searching for Thrawn, and she says that in there. And if you haven't watched the Rebels, you wouldn't know Thrawn. Thrawn is how good of a villain was he in Rebels?
I'm so excited to see him in live action.
Have you honestly watch all of I've got that book at home. Watch all of the Rebels, Dylan.
I've been meaning to.
You've got to do that because the way they make Thrawn, he's so smart. His voice is so cool, and he's always one step ahead of the Jedi's. And the only way they could do it was to get those weird octopusy things that can use the Force. Octopussy. But yeah, that's literally what it was like. So. I think that was a great time to play that.
Fucking octopuses. So another thing which I found so fucking cool, by the way, again, spoiler alert, for Kanan Jarrus is actually Caleb Dune. That's his actual name.
And he's voiced by the guy from, fun fact here, from Scooby-Doo. He plays Fred.
Oh, well, there you go. So he's actually, Kanan Jarrus is his fake alias he used when he went into hiding after Order 66. And there's a book called Star Wars A New Dawn, which I read. It's fucking awesome. It's actually follows the story of Caleb Doom when he first meets, I'm pretty sure, Hera Syndulla, and how they first get together, and them two go on this crazy little fucking mission behind the enemy lines and the Empire and shit, and then she ends up discovering that he's a Jedi named Caleb Doom, and then that book then leads them into the start of Rebels. So that's why I love the book so much. And if you don't read, man, even if you don't think you're a good reader, I highly suggest picking up a Star Wars book because the books are very not directed at kids, but it's not crazy word play and all these words that are crazy. It's simple fucking English, right? So like I said, so when I went from reading Star Wars to reading the books by Anthony Ryan, the fantasy books I've been reading for the past 12 months, there's fucking been 8 books I've read from this same guy. When I come back to the Star Wars High Republic book, man, the difference in the books, bro, was incredible. I was like, wow. I felt like I went from level advanced English down back to just year 12 English. I was like, oh shit.
Oh wow.
And because Anthony Ryan, so when you're reading a fucking from an author like Anthony Ryan, at least one word in every single chapter I had to stop and look it up what it meant, because this cunt was using these crazy words. But with Star Wars, it's very simplified. So if you're not even into reading, you could just fucking pick up any Star Wars book. And I'm telling you right now, the enjoyment you will get out of these books, man, it honestly changed my life.
I'm the perfect example of that. I've never read a book in my life. You've always been reading for a while.
Yeah, Mum got me into reading when I was a kid. Yeah.
The first book I picked up was that Star Wars book, and I read it from start to finish, and I couldn't believe how much. You think you'd rather watch a movie because it's shown for you, but it's crazy how much you picture. It's literally seeing a movie in your head. It's crazy.
But not just that too, because like I just said, my mother got me into reading when I was very young. She just, I'm pretty sure at one time she either just come home with a bunch of books for me, or when I went to, remember back in primary school, they had the book parades and shit, and then you'd go and they'd sell books. I always was like, oh, what the fuck, I don't want to go there. Mum was like, nah, let's go, I'll buy you a book. I'm like, nah, I don't really want one. She's like, no, trust me. And we went in there and she basically forced a book upon me. And then I was like, I don't want to read this shit. But then I actually read it and I fucking loved it so much. And then I just kept reading. And then mum just kept giving me books. And then I remember one time I really wanted to read Star Wars, right? And then mum was like, oh, you know, you can download like apps on your phone or your iPad that have the full version of books, right? And I'm like, oh, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, I'll do it for you. So mum gave me one of her first, this is like the first iPad. It was like a big blocky ugly thing. Mum gave me her iPad to borrow and she downloaded the app for me and she got the book for me, bro, Star Wars Kenobi. And I've told Meegs about this book many fucking times before. And that book changed my fucking life, bro. I was addicted. I finished that book and then in like 2 years, I read like 16 or 17 Star Wars books, comics, everything. And Kenobi, spoiler again, this is the book, right? It follows Kenobi after episode 3, after Order 66, but not a couple years. This is directly after.
That's
so
mad.
the cunt is flying, lands on Tatooine, goes into hiding, and then gets told the mission of, I'm not, see now I can't remember off the top of my head if it's like Yoda or someone tells him to look after Luke's adoptive family. So what he does is he's living in a fucking cave like a caveman. He has to live in a cave, and like once a day he would like sort of wander down to the village and check on Luke's family, the milk farmers or the harvesters or whatever they're doing. But while he's doing that, he then ends up meeting a girl and like kind of falling for this woman, and all this crazy shit, bro. They fight at the very end of the book. They fight a crate dragon. So in the Mandalorian, they fight one of those at the end of the book. The crate dragons. He ends up, again, spoiler alert. I'm sorry. He ends up discovering a Jedi Tusken warrior, and he duels him.
A Jedi
Jedi fucking Tusken, bro. Duels him. They end up dueling because everyone knows the Tuskens always raid the villages in Tatooine, and everyone hates the Tuskens or whatever. But the Tuskens are actually just fucking humans that wear fucked up masks and rags and shit. I thought they were monsters. They're just fucking dudes.
Is that canon still? That's book?
Canon. It's canon. 100% canon. And wait, are the Tuskens people? Or are they monsters?
I thought that they don't talk. They just go.
They don't talk, but they could be. But they could
that's
be a
their own
different
language. I think they're a different. No, they're a different race, but they've got a Tusken Jedi. I don't know if he's a human or a Tusken, but what had happened was
could be in disguise.
he was a Jedi, fled the Order. This is before Order 66, and he wanted to live a simple life, so he ended up joining the Tuskens, and then he was like their leader, and that's how low key the Tuskens were so good at raiding, because they low key the whole time had a Jedi with them, and he's going in just fucking cunts up. Wow. But at the end of the book, Kenobi and these guys end up teaming up to fight the crate dragon, and it's a fucking beautiful.
And they said in the Mandalorian that crate dragon was an enemy of the Tuskens for so many years.
The crate dragon is an enemy to fucking every cunt. He's going in eating people and shit. So
the way they put that on the screen, I thought
that was
how
beautiful.
good was that?
Such a good show, man. Mandalorian.
Hey, another fun fact. 2 seasons in a row now, the Mandalorian has been using virtual riot samples.
Really?
Yep. So in the first season, when when Grogu first uses the Force to stop that mud monster from charging at Mando, the growl of the monster is actually a dubstep bass that virtual riot made.
Yep. I love virtual.
Yep. And then season 2, the scene where Luke Skywalker comes in and fucks up all the robots. Those sounds are all virtual riot dubstep growls.
Oh, what the hell?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep. So next time you watch that scene, listen,
That's
and it's
mad.
actually all just dubstep. And it's all virtual riot.
Yeah, because they had that dubstep song when them things are punching in the door.
Yeah, that's hectic. That's so good.
It's all virtual riot. What do we got? We got 5 minutes. Okay, so what you two haven't read any other books, have you?
No.
Nah, not Star Wars books. I'm also like, I've watched absolutely everything I possibly could. I've read a lot of the comics. Remember, you used to always get me some comics, and I read that. But yeah, I've got a lot on my list now. But yeah.
Well, comics are also great too, because that's apparently the best way you can see like the true side of Darth Vader. Apparently in the comics, he's like slaughtering people. But I've only read like 2 or 3.
I want to read the comic. I want to start reading because the High Republic has comics too. I'm really liking the High Republic. I want to learn more about it.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that I never finished the book, but
I haven't either. I'm halfway.
that has been pretty good so far. That one, like I
Very
said,
different.
very simple.
There's already more books. Like it's a full.
Another one comes out in June.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, High Republic is now the brand new branch of Star Wars content that's coming out, and that is what it's based like 1,000 years before.
200 years before.
200
so Yoda's
years.
in his prime and shit, man.
So Yoda's only like 400 years old at that time.
And there's a
maybe.
Wookiee Jedi in there.
And
Yeah,
it's before the
Baraka.
Sith. Like the Sith aren't there. So for what
but
we
which-
know yet, but
That new movie they announced, the Acolyte, one of those new ones, that's based in the High Republic era. It's about the dark side.
it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. It's a good time to start being a Star Wars fan
For
because
sure.
the thing is, there is so much stuff coming out. That Obi-Wan series is going to be absolutely crazy, and the one that's coming very soon, I'm pretty sure it starts on May the 4th because May the 4th review.
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, which was a great little arc in there. And the thing is, Bad Batch is going to be very interesting for the pure fact of where it's going to be set. By the trailers, if you watch the trailers, which are absolutely crazy, it's set in Order 66, and I think every time in the cartoon they've gone towards Order 66, the episodes have been great. Like that special episode they did in season 5 where they explained where, can't remember which clone it was, but one of the clones nearly figured out that, he figured out that what Order 66
wasn't it
was. And then
Echo?
it was Echo.
Echo or Fives, I
He
think.
goes crazy. They think he's crazy.
And it goes crazy, but it's just like seeing it from that perspective. I was like, this is genius. It's absolutely genius because like Order 66. Like I rewatched all the Star Wars movies recently with my missus, and like when I was watching all of them, I was like, holy crap! Like you're picking things that you didn't before, and like I totally forgot that Anakin, like what he did to, he had a chance to. End all this crap. He just had to listen to Windu, and instead he turned on. So it's just crazy when you really watch it.
Far out.
Yeah.
He had all the evidence right in front of him.
Anakin. He knew he had all of it in front of him, and he even he did all, and then last minute he switched it up, and it was like, all right, that's what I like about the Clone Wars. But they don't really do on Anakin turning. I think because the movies did that, you didn't get to really see that in the cartoon where it just did everything beforehand and then afterwards.
Well, that's another thing too from Clone Wars. I remember another time where I rung Mikey after I'd seen this. In the Clone Wars, especially like season 5 or 6, I can't remember. The second last season where it really shows Anakin where he starts having visions.
Season 4.
Visions and dreams. And there's even an episode where he has a full vision of him dressed as Darth Vader, but he doesn't know what it means.
Is that the one with the father, the daughter?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the daughter and the brother, and
where he
they're
actually-
stuck on
where-
that planet.
Anakin, he ends up meeting like the Force. Isn't
God.
It?
It's like-
God.
it's
It's like
weird.
God.
And remember in the
it's very
Rebels,
deep.
there was an episode, if you haven't rewatched it all yet, where on the rocks there was a picture of the father, the mother, and the thing, and that was a thing with the wolves were going to, and they go into there, and that's right at the end where they were trapped and cornered, and that saved them. So yeah, same thing. They just keep connecting and
See,
connecting.
the cartoon got so deep. Like they went to a planet that's like the planet was the Force, wasn't it? Like it was a Force planet.
They were trapped there, and the son wouldn't let them. He was like really evil and tendency to the dark
the
side.
dark side, and then you've got the daughter who's the light side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
Weird.
that
Those
was
were weird.
great.
That was very good though.
I've never watched Clone Wars, and you were telling me when you were telling me, Mark, you got to watch it, and I was like, all right, I'll watch this, and I watched this, and it was crazy. And I remember you always saying, "Wait till you get to this episode." And I was
That
waiting
shit
for that
blew my
episode. and it was
mind,
really
man.
good.
I was like fully highly addicted, like addicted to it. Bro. I
So
was
good,
like,
man. I've done it 3 times. That series, it's way too good. Way
Yeah,
too good.
I've done Clone Wars twice. I'm currently doing Rebels for the second time again. I'll probably
Wait till you get to the end of that, man. You'll
Yeah.
be like, "Oh my god,
I'll
I
be
forgot
like,
this
fuck
even happened." Because do you reckon they will do another Rebel series? Because the way they've ended it, they basically, I know they did a bit of a
they
time
could.
skip, and
I reckon, but like I said, Dave Filoni is very smart. So
Very
he will wait for the perfect moment, and then he will see how Star Wars is sort of going, and then he will go, okay, yeah, we need to do one more, like he did with Clone Wars. We've got to do one more season to wrap it up.
but
Or he'll go, nah, keep him waiting.
But
keep him
they
waiting.
did that season because it was planned. But when Disney bought Star Wars, they canned it, and then
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
brought back that season.
But with Rebels, what's interesting is the way it ended. They did a bit of a time skip and show what Hera's on, and their Hera's child, and that was born and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what they do there. More so, I think they're really converting it into the live action. So I truly believe
there's going to be a
they've-
lot of Mandalorian type shit.
Yeah, and that's why you need to watch this stuff, because you're going to see, I reckon Ezra's going to pop up for sure. If Thrawn pops up, Ezra's going to pop up, or they've got to explain what happened to Ezra, because Thrawn and Ezra went away together. We don't know if they got zapped into 2 different parts of, space, which is huge, but they both were around the same thing, and he sacrificed himself. He didn't die, but he sacrificed himself to get, thrown away, and really in the end of the day saved the day. So it'll be interesting with all the stuff of them bringing up Thrawn. I think instead of doing another Rebels, they're going to really focus
in the Mandalorian.
or whatever subs, or not Mandalorian, Ahsoka, which is now confirmed TV series.
Yeah,
so
fucking oath.
that's what I'm hoping her
that.
subline's going to be, because I also think Sabine will come into it, because don't forget who was helping out Ahsoka. Sabine was she was on the same mission, but she more so, I think she's more so after Ezra. And Ahsoka's, they want Thrawn because they know how evil he is and what he can start.
Even seeing in the Mandalorian, I should have started like
Do it. So we've got Yoda back. He's figured it out. He's old.
Does it taste like shit?
it tastes a little bit plastic.
It's like a little snarl. Like
Yum, it is. All right,
very good it is.
All right, so if you look in the camera, this pile next to me here, this is all the shit I've read when I was highly addicted to this shit. A book. Wait. Did you have something, Dylan? You were gonna say?
I was just gonna say how even seeing what's the bounty hunter called from Clone Wars?
Oh, Cad Bane, bro. Cad Bane. Because he deserves a mention. Cad Bane is he's a fucking bad guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
So
But I
good.
was talking in the Mandalorian, how you see the
Oh, okay. You're talking
not the bounty, where they wear the
Bosk.
what's
the
the
lizard,
name?
the lizard man.
She's in the Mandalorian.
The chick with the little.
Yeah,
she's the one with Boba in the Clone Wars
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
What's her name? Yeah, she's.
She's played by
She's the one
Katie
that has.
Sackhoff.
She's the one that has a stick. But I swear, there's a scene with Boss too. But yeah, she's got the metal stick in her hair. She's got the orange hair tie.
Yeah, I forget her name.
I can't remember what her name is.
When
But
I saw her, I was
What's
like,
this
well,
one?
in the Mandalorian season 2,
Oh,
when
who
you see
plays
what's the name?
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. That's her name. Bo-Katan. Yeah,
I
I
thought you were
freaked out when I
talking
saw
about
it.
the bounty hunter. Yeah, Bo-Katan. Yeah, I got it spotted. I knew she was going to rock up.
Yeah, I
Same
accidentally
thing.
said bounty hunter. I meant fucking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because there is a bounty hunter that was in it for one episode, and the chick I'm talking about with Boba was also in it. But yeah, Bo-Katan's a crazy character, and I said to Iggy, because Iggy watched it, and I was like, dude, you need to go and watch the rest of the Clone Wars, the later season they did, because she was on a mission with, when I was talking about Ahsoka and Darth Maul, Ahsoka was with Bo-Katan on a mission. And it's funny how, when you see Bo-Katan and in the thing, she's like, go see Ahsoka. So, little things like that you've got to understand, because it's taking off right from there, and it's using that knowledge there to infuse into that. So, it's very important. Like, to me, you'd be watching Clone Wars, and although you might hear characters, Mandalorian, sorry, you'd be confused. If you hadn't watched everything, you've got to be confused. So, honestly, I know a lot of people are getting into Star Wars now because of Mandalorian, and I love that. It's great. But honestly, go back, watch everything we've just said, and then redo The Mandalorian. It'd be a different show. Very good it is.
I can't use the Force. I've drank too much.
Yoda's drunk a bit too much fucking Java
He's
juice.
pissed.
But so if you haven't watched Clone Wars,
Do it.
right?
Do it.
It's so important to the whole. So basically, to me,
It's a lesson of
the Clone Wars is like the glue in between everything. You don't know something, it's answered in the Clone Wars. Right, but just off topic quickly from the Clone Wars, something I want to bring up too is this book right here. Right now, this book, right, probably my favorite book out of all the books I've read. Now this, right, I won't ruin the ending to this because this is fucking great. But slight spoilers.
cool.
I want to know.
This is called Twilight Company. Now, what was fucking beautiful about this book was reading this book, it felt like I was reading a World War II book.
Yeah, that's mad.
So this follows a company of rebels called Twilight Company, and these cunts are like guerrillas. So they, after battles on planets, they hold recruiting stations just to join Twilight Company, and they take anyone. You could have zero military experience, and you're welcomed in Twilight Company. And they train them up on the road, teach them how to use weapons and shit like that.
That's cool,
Right?
lad.
But this fucking book starts off and follows the battle. This is during episode 5, and the book starts off in the Battle of fucking Hoth.
Oh.
That's cool.
And
lad.
and the company are fucking running through the snow in the trenches. It's like a full World War II book, right? Yeah, and this is great, man. So they're just going from like planet to planet, like basically balls deep in war, and yeah, long story short, they end up having to hold off like a last sort of line of defense against the Empire kind of thing, and the Empire is fucking literally like sending everything they can to them, AT-ATs, fucking Star Destroyers and shit, but like bombing them from space. It's this honestly, man, Twilight Company, give that shit a read. It could be a good starter book because it's not really following the main story of anything, but you just know that this is set during the Battle of Hoth.
Well, would you have more understanding if you understood the Battle of Hoth and that you know it's set in number 5? Maybe it'd be good.
I guess with what we're saying, it makes sense to basically just watch the main films first, eh?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And look, I know old school fans are probably gonna fucking talk shit, but I'm whatever. Like, watch it from fucking Phantom Menace and then just work your way up. To a newcomer, it makes more sense watching it that way.
Yeah, it's better doing it that way.
Just watch it from Phantom Menace and just watch it to the last 9 of them. You know what I mean?
Episode 9, yeah.
So, question. This is something that I always fucking have been agreeing on this for a fucking long time. Is I do believe that the Star Wars community are massive sooks.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, bro.
They all they do is complain and complain and complain. I think the last 3 movies weren't that bad. Force Awakens was a bit like, but the other 2 were all right.
So you bring up a great topic and a great point, because even example, I've already watched all these with my missus, and even what she said, she wasn't liking the story at first, and then she started to like it. Like, when you get to it, it's great. The thing is, will it live up to the hype? Like 1, 2, and 3 were the best movies. Like, I'm talking movies here. Like in sagas, like that was the best story. Even 4, 5, and 6, what maybe stir you away from that is the graphics and how it was made.
Yeah,
but
it's hard
7,
to watch.
8, 9, I think it's just some of the characters were a bit poor compared to it. But you got to understand, with the story and the way they went down, unfortunately, they chose to kill most of these Jedis. So you're left with all this different perspective. And yeah, I don't think there was like, we went to the movies again. We went and watched it twice each. And I remember going to one with you, Dylan. And it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't that bad. Yes, it wasn't as good as those, but it was pretty good. And the fact is, look at all the stuff they're producing now. They're still producing on that level.
I just don't like Snoke, man. They should have done something way better with Snoke.
There are a lot of things you can look at and say, yep, they should have done this better, and they should have done this and that. And like, at the end, it was a bit weird with Kylo, and there's things they could have improved. 100%, I agree with that. But it wasn't bad Star Wars. It wasn't as bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near as good as the rest of it. But would you rather it not be there or be there? I'd still probably say be there.
That was the Snoke stuff was so random, eh?
I know, it's just weird.
The character, when in the first one, remember how G'd up we were, and then all of a sudden, bang, this guy died, and it's like, spoiler alert again, sorry, a bit late, but like that I remember when we went to we're like, what? Like this crazy guy that's trained in just got like,
they're trying like with the Mandalorian, they're trying to fix it up a little bit, like how you can kind of see them trying to clone it, like that makes it cool.
Like one thing that you've noticed, like watching it back, how overpowered did they make Rey? Rey is so overpowered. If you go back and you rewatch those movies, I'm like, holy crap, the things she could do compared to all these other big Jedis, she could do things that none of them else could do.
She's fucking force lightning. That shit was nuts. I reckon that was awesome.
That, and like even just her pure strength, like she didn't have much training at all, and she went from 0 to 100 real quick in the first episode.
Force lightning.
She does
in the fucking last movie, and she thinks she kills Chewie.
Falcon, yeah, and she was just trying to stop it, and she used too much power.
But I thought that was like a redirection of like...
No, that's her fucking making lightning,
that
bro.
That was the point, hey, because the whole movie you're like, who is Rey?
Because remember the whole time...
That is so overpowered.
No, that's awesome, because I remember the whole time, during the movies, I was getting the feel of... So, mine and Meeg's biggest fucking plot twist, we thought it was going to be Kylo turns to the good light side and Rey turns to the dark, and that's
which is what they were ploying to.
That's what they were directing to. That's why as soon as I saw her do the lightning, I was like, oh no fucking way! I was like, they are gonna make a turn, but it just turns out she's just that strong. She can fucking do it.
That would have been cool
with her emotions.
Nah. Rey should have. I reckon it was okay. Rey stay.
Yeah, I don't mind him at all, but
I liked that Rey was overpowered and strong, because it's kind of like Anakin. Anakin was so strong and no one could explain why he was so strong, but it's just that Rey really didn't like... I just felt like the last movies kind of... There was no character build and no direction of what was happening.
They seemed very rushed. Like they seemed
very
like,
random, very like.
But yeah, spoiler: the reason why she was so strong too is look at her bloodline. She's a Palpatine.
Yeah,
I know she knows that because I knew that was the biggest thing going into that movie is who is she? Like you knew she wasn't going to be a Skywalker. Like you're just trying to add up the math there, but
wait.
She claims herself as a Skywalker in the end of that movie, but she's a Palpatine.
Yeah. She was the granddaughter of Sidious.
Yeah,
then who did? So then who?
Because she said to herself, "My name, no."
Her
they said in the movie that her parents were kind of nobodies, but she even come out and she said that, like at the end of the movie, I'm Rey Skywalker. Because she claimed herself to be a Skywalker with everything that they stood for, she classified herself as a Skywalker, which was a nice take.
So who was fucking Sidious rooting?
They don't show Sidious as kids or nothing, so like you just have to assume he had at some point he had some kids.
That's where the plot hole is.
That's another plot hole.
Maybe they could cover that up in some other.
That will definitely get covered up in the future.
Filoni and Favreau, they'll patch it up, but the main thing is the stuff they're producing now is absolutely incredible. Just boys, one thing I wanted to touch on that I think is great, and I know Iggy hasn't finished it, but I know you have, the games. So the games are very different. So we've got, your Battlefronts are great, but with the story, or even that story quickly, Iden Versio, she was really cool, and I liked playing that. But this game, is it not Fallen Order?
The end of that is crazy.
That whole game is crazy. You get to go onto your planets. You get to go on, my favorite. Like I love Darth Maul, and you get to go on his planet in Dathomir, and you do all these missions, and you create your own lightsaber. And the thing is that you need to play these games because this game example, there was a good chance when you knew that Grogu was going to get trained by Jedi. He was actually one of the guys that it could have possibly been because it could be Cal Kestis. And these him and the coloured chick, I can't remember her name. They're canon, so they're going to pop up in some way or another. And definitely Filoni and that could utilize them. There is another game announced and another spoiler that I've heard whispers that they reckon Darth Maul is going to be the villain in this one potentially. I'm not going to spoil the first game because Iggy hasn't seen the biggest thing. Like there is such a big shock in the end of that game, and you're like, holy crap!
Yeah, well,
I've told him just if you're not going to play the game, just watch the cinematics.
No, well, speaking of game, they on Steam they've got a deal for $50. You get Fallen Order, Battlefront 2, and Star Wars Squadron.
That's pretty good.
I haven't done the Squadron,
yeah,
but
Squadron's
stories.
It's
just
I haven't played
it's
it.
just the flying one, just ships.
It gets really boring, but apparently there is still a story and it's still really cool. And eventually, if it's on sale like that, 100%. But the main point of me bringing that up is it's canon. You're watching a movie while playing it, and it is very enjoyable to play.
They're bringing,
very enjoyable.
They're bringing out a number 2 of that game.
That's what I just said with Darth Maul is a predictor villain in that one.
Well,
but
look, speaking of all that stuff, man, we should probably talk about all the new stuff. Have you looked at in depth at what's coming out?
100%, man.
They
I've
have
been on that like a hawk.
They have an anime one. They're gonna show like scenes in like an anime style. Have you seen that one? What's
fantastic.
that called?
I'm not sure what it's called. There's a lot. You got Acolyte. You've got Bad Batch. You've got
Ahsoka, Book of Boba.
Yeah, Obi-Wan.
There was heaps. There was fucking heaps.
Because the first one we're going to get in real action will be the Book of Boba, which is going to be great. I thought, that season 2 of Mandalorian was some of the best Star Wars.
Seeing Boba and that was cool, man.
That whole season was out of this world. That last episode, man, I was literally like shaking, bro.
That scene when he finally comes back in his armor and the armor doesn't fit, he's like a full fat cunt. I was like, yes,
and like,
bro.
Don't you find it amazing? Like such a simple thing with they introduce Grogu, and the fact of introducing Grogu, the amount of people that hated Star Wars, example, my missus that have got into Star Wars because of this little green thing, and they go, oh, he's sick, and they've watched it, and from there they've got into it's genius. They've literally created this character with so much question,
genius,
and it is advertised and it's drawn so many people in. And the thing is, there's so many questions that happen with Grogu because, example, Luke Skywalker says, remember when he goes to train Rey, like all my Padawans, all like they've all he says nothing but negative. So you're like, all right, well then what happens to him? Because we know that at the end of Mandalorian season 2 that Grogu gets
he was at the new temple.
So obviously, with the way the previous films have ended, there's basically the character of Grogu has a little bit been cornered into where there's no, like, surely there can't be a happy ending for Grogu.
Yeah, no.
The only
what happened? He goes into hiding or something.
The best possible thing for Grogu would be if say Luke does end up training him and he grows up a little bit and he gets strong, the best possible outcome would be that Luke ends up finding his other species and leaving him with them, and he just lives a peaceful life, not trying to become a Jedi anymore, or he goes into hiding somewhere,
Does his own thing.
or he has to die.
Because
There's no
like,
good ending for Grogu.
we're probably going to see Yoda's species, which is crazy. Like,
Well,
think about that.
they
Like,
have to.
we're going to learn about it for once. Like, he's been in it for so many years and no one knows what he is.
So, same thing. If you haven't watched Mando,
What do you think that they're going to do with Mandalorian season 3, which will come out? So the thing is, right, the way it ends and what could go down is, which here's a quick plot hole. I want to mention that I was a bit not happy with how they did this. The Darksaber. So yet again, if you watch the Rebels, basically in Mandalorian,
there was
which
a
was cool.
huge thing about
the
that.
Darksaber that Bo-Katan couldn't accept it. Moff Gideon said, nah, she can't because it hasn't been won in battle. But Sabine Wren won that Darksaber in battle.
Yep.
And Sabine Wren handed it to Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan didn't battle it. She got given.
Yep.
She got given this Darksaber. She never won it. Yet she's saying that she can't with Mando because
She's already done it
hasn't
before.
won it. Yeah, that's what I mean.
but Sabine and Bo-Katan aren't sisters, are they? Okay, I was going to say maybe
Sabine Wren, Bo-Katan.
they might try to stop that plot hole with saying that because their
Filoni
family
was involved with
but-
that. He can't. Like, I think what they're trying to do is
Nah,
they're trying to create the next season. With the next season, you're going to have Mando trying. Are they going to have a feud? Is it going to be Bo and that? Is there going to be a feud, or are they going to work together?
To unite the Mandalorians.
Yes, is he going to go on a mission, which is what I want it to be. I don't want it to be a feud between Bo and that. I want him to help restore Mandalore.
That's what it will be. I think it will be that.
That's what it's got to be.
It's
but
called the Mandalorian, so I
That's
reckon
what it's got to be.
they'll go
In
deep.
my opinion, that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, sorry, you go.
No. All I was going to say was the whole Sabine and Bo-Katan thing. Yeah, I thought, but Dave Filoni is like he's not.
He's got a plan in place, but
I mean, everyone makes mistakes, and they could have probably just forgot that they've
done
done
it for
that.
a
But I
reason.
don't think Filoni knows.
There might
bro.
be something going on.
Filoni knows he's not. Look at what he has done single-handedly up to this point.
He saved Star
He's
Wars.
not dumb. He is not
Resurrected is a
fucking
better
dumb.
word.
He wears a cowboy hat for fuck's sake. Yeah, like
he's not dumb, but yeah,
He
I
is-
just think it was a bit of a plot hole, and I'm very interested to know why he's decided to go down that path. And the thing is, do you think they can leave out, with how popular that show is, do you think they can leave out that little guy over there? Do you think they can leave him out? Do you think they can leave Grogu out? Like, what happens? Like, does he decide to go back with, maybe he decides to go back with Grogu? I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're going to possibly do with him, but they're going to, if not, they might have to do a Luke Skywalker show.
look,
There's so much questions to be answered.
it is called The Mandalorian, and it should. That's
about the
why-
Mandalorian.
I'm telling you, he's got it planned out because, like you said, like even my girlfriend watched the whole season 1 purely. I'm pretty sure we were watching it in bed, and she wouldn't even look at the screen until Grogu was on it.
That's exactly
So
the same with my miss.
you could ask her anything about Mandalorian season 1, and she's got no idea.
If you
She
mention
just
that
knows
guy.
there's a cute green thing on it. So yes, Grogu was a huge part in getting. You can't even say potential new fans because I'll do say that out there at some point there was probably a couple of women that seen it and actually enjoyed it
and started watching all the other movies.
and then started
Example,
watching it
Ash.
like your girlfriend, yes. But there's also a lot of women like my girlfriend who would have just literally watched it for the cute green thing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
To sell merch, they made
Sell
Grogu.
merch, you sell little
so
plush
smart.
toys, little, you know what I mean?
Now they've got to do something with it. Like, what are they going to do? They brought in Luke Skywalker. Like, what are they possibly gonna do here? Like, it's a very interesting because it's curious to know how Star Wars fans gather this knowledge and think what they're going to do with it because there's so many possibilities. But now
Can
what
go
they're going to have
anywhere.
to do is if they don't include him, they have to include him in another sub-series, and that's what they're doing with everything. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm on your side there, Dylan. I really hope that he goes to save Mandalore. He's got to do that.
I think they will.
Please don't let
Yeah,
them
that's
fight and
gotta-
fight for the saber because then that'll be frustrating. Don't get me wrong, they'll make it cool, but yeah, I don't want him to go too much on this plot hole. Like, he made the Rebels, so he had a big hand in the Rebels, so don't. Yeah, I think he just needs to stick with it.
Yeah, look, like we said, Filoni is a very smart man. He's had this shit planned
trust
out
him.
for
I trust him.
years, man, and he knows, bro. Hold on, let me check that. Actually, let me cancel
I don't
this.
think. I don't
No
think
one
anyone-
answered.
Yeah,
No
no one. People don't know Star Wars.
No, people
bro.
don't like it. Oh, did Joey maybe? Nah, no one knows. Fuck yous, man.
Yeah,
come on. But in saying that
Mobsy
too,
would give us a
once
No,
again,
I got two actually.
okay, good.
I got
hold on, because I've got to reset it. Once again, though, that is our bad. We leave it too late, and we don't give people enough time to fucking. I'll reset it before we answer it.
Ate says, Old Republic versus Skywalker Saga. Which one is better?
Ooh. See, I knew. Great question.
Yeah, he's a very good Star Wars fan.
He loves it.
I'm really.
we've been there with-
I haven't fully dived into the Old Republic, but it looks awesome, man. Like with Revan and shit.
Look, I really want him to produce movies on the Old Republic. I think that's
Canon,
what we need.
make it canon.
Don't make a new series and don't make a new episode and all that kind of stuff. Like, don't give us all this new stuff we haven't seen yet. Like, let's make series based off the Old Republic. It's the way to go. Let's go in the past. Let's go where there's all these Jedis alive and they're not. They can think about it. If they go in the future, it's not going to work as much.
They will. I reckon they will.
Yeah, I think. I'm hoping they go into the past, but where you've got all these Jedis and stuff alive, and there's all this, like in that new book they made the Marauders and stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping they do. But yeah, it's a very good point. That's a very hard question to answer.
Okay, so Old Republic versus what was it?
Skywalker Saga.
Okay, so obviously the Old Republic.
I want to see it.
There isn't enough Old Republic stuff to answer that, but
it's not
there's,
canon, like,
there's
I like
so
canon.
much potential. Like, the Old Republic PC games, right?
Oh, I love that, man.
The cinematics in that shit is fucking like every
Nice.
Star Wars fan is like, man, why don't they just make movies like that?
So it's basically World of Warcraft, but it's called Star Wars.
Literally,
World,
but that's when there's like
old Star Wars, the Old Republic.
hundreds of Sith, hundreds of Jedi, and they're battling.
And
Like,
you've got
that's mad.
you've got 8 classes to choose from. You can be a smuggler, a Jedi, a Sith, a Juggernaut Sith, and like you choose all that. And then the stories in that were incredible. Like, yeah, there might be a few game issues and stuff like that, but the story in that was overall great.
I reckon they'll go back to it for sure.
That thing is so cool.
So worth it,
So
bro.
they-
You two got to get one of these.
so yeah, that
Right
was.
on that thing,
Where'd you get
man.
that? Amazon, eh?
Amazon, bruh.
Well, yeah, like, so the Old Republic and stuff has so much fucking potential, but it's like Disney are just so scared to do it. It's like, why?
They will.
Do it.
They will. I bet you they will.
That's time for the do
Come
it
on,
button.
Disney. Do it. Like, just fucking do it, bro. Like, man, it wouldn't even, I don't even think it'd cost Disney nothing to just make an animated movie like the Clone Wars.
Anime series.
Just on the Old Republic, where they've got like Darth Bane and Darth Magnus.
That's what everybody wants. And the thing is, like, one thing I didn't like, I love Star Wars, but like it sucked that they went down the path of slaying everybody. I want to see Jedi. I want to see them in their action because that's where Star Wars is the
Well,
most
that's why the
enjoyable,
High
so-
Republic's cool too, because it's like the Jedi
There's
in their
heaps
prime.
of
There's
them.
a lot of Jedi. It's a full order.
And Darth Bane is canon though, so the Old Republic's not, but Darth Bane is because Yoda mentions him in the Clone Wars.
Yes.
He talks to the ghost, so like
Yes.
he's real. So, but
Yeah,
it's
he's-
just
yeah,
they gotta,
you're right.
they could do so much with him.
Well, I got a question too, because me and Meegley have talked about all this shit already.
Everything,
but
bro.
fucking-
Yeah.
So, what is everyone's favorite Sith? Wait, did you only have one question?
No, I got a second one, but we can answer it.
Right. What is everyone's favorite Sith?
Oh, look, I've already got to go first. Maul. I've always loved Darth Maul. I don't know, when I was younger and I just saw him, I was like, he's so cool. But then when you watch the cartoons, it really unlocks Maul as a character. If I had to kind of go off there, I just like Maul too much. I like him way too much. But at the same time, I really enjoy Asajj Ventress. And maybe from reading, I know like you can't go really past like Darth Revan and all those kind of. But I don't know too much about them.
That's the thing with me too. Like my favorite character is Grievous, but he's not a Sith. Like the villains are so much cooler than the heroes, I reckon. But if I'm saying like an actual Sith, it's got to be Vader, I guess, man. We just know enough about Vader. You know what I mean? Like he's just. I don't really know like too much about the Old Republic stuff, and even though they look like cool characters, I just don't know enough.
Yeah. My favorite Sith, right? It's a very close call between Darth Revan and Darth Nihilus. Right,
Nihilus is cool. I've read a
Nihilus.
bit about Nihilus.
Right. Darth Revan is cool because Darth Revan is your typical story of he used to be a Jedi, but then he turned to the dark side. But Darth Revan is just, there was no like silly reason. Darth Revan literally just says the dark side was way more powerful. So he just turned.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like a sob story like, oh, my master fucking fucked my mom. And then, like, it was just, he just turned because he just knew there was so much more potential and power with
That's
the dark
mad.
side. So he turned and he used to use the old lightsaber. And I'm pretty sure he also had like a red and a purple lightsaber.
Yeah.
So he was and his costume is so well done.
His mask is mad.
There's even rumors that they're going to get Keanu Reeves to play a Darth Revan type character.
So they just got to bring him into it. It's very simple. Man.
Same thing. Not a lot of info on Darth Revan. Though Darth Nihilus, why he's my favorite is because he was so powerful that he wasn't human anymore. He ended up turning into like a demon
Of the dark side. Did he eat worlds and shit?
He was so fucking powerful. He would land on planets and then he was sucking the force out of the planets into him, and he'd get more power, and then the planet would just become like a barren wasteland.
That's so cool.
And then he'd go to the next planet and he was sucking all this power, and then he ended up sucking so much force from all these planets and people and like living beings, he ended up just becoming a demon. So under his costume and his mask, there was like nothing there. It was just like an entity, like a mist. And he ended up becoming like so powerful that he just turned into nothing. Like he just
disappeared.
Basically disappeared into like a ghost. So he ends up becoming like a force demon.
What's he? Where do they? Is that in Old Republic stuff or?
So that is Old Republic stuff. And that is just basically info that you see in like all different like YouTubers do huge videos. Yeah, because
he's always been interesting to me.
Yeah, he's definitely my favorite.
And Plagueis was also crazy because Plagueis was actually mentioned by Sidious in the actual Star Wars movies in number 3 when he's explaining it to Anakin and basically said to him, "Hey, look, we can save Padme with this power." And you're like, "Well, you've read that book." Yeah, I haven't read it completely yet, but. He can control. There it is, right there.
This book,
Darth Plagueis. He could control the Modicals and all the
midichlorians.
Yeah.
Only issue with this though is that this isn't canon anymore.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's what sucks because the one fuck up. Well, there's a lot of fuck ups Disney did, but one of the main things I think Disney should have kept was this book in canon. Because this book fucking answers so many questions. It's not even fucking funny, bro. Anything you want to know about Palpatine in this book.
Well, they might make it canon eventually. It's like kind of what they're doing with the Mandalorian. They in that second season they borrowed a lot from Legends and kind of like the Dark Troopers and shit.
Yeah, and made them all canon.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff probably will stick, but for now until they show it.
Though they even show at the beginning of the book, it's even who Darth Plagueis' master is.
And it's just cool to see their chain, like of whose master was whose, and and just how they got powerful.
And basically, this even explains how Darth Plagueis made like Palpatine a 100% Sith Lord. Do you want to know how he did it?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Yeah. So spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Is fucking So basically, Plagueis, after a few years of training, Plagueis basically just goes, "Look, I need you to prove to me that you want to be a Sith. Like, I need you to do something that's going to basically show me that you're 100% committed." So Palpatine ends up slaughtering his whole family on a ship.
Yeah, that's
his own family.
His own family. Slaughters all of them. His mum, his dad, his brother, his sister.
That's mad.
All of them. And he just flat stick lightsaber, like they're all on a ship going somewhere. They just think it's like a normal day, and then he just goes red lightsaber, bang, bang, and just kills them all.
That's cool.
And then and then when he ends up seeing Plagueis again, he's like, "Yeah, is that proof enough for you?" And even Plagueis was like, "All right, damn, like this guy's fucking crazy, crazy." So this book was fucking such a great read. There was even another bit of a fun fact is Plagueis actually did the sneaky, and he actually had a secret apprentice as well, because the whole book Plagueis is very like iffy on Palpatine. So the whole time he actually had a secret apprentice who was training in the dark arts as well in secret, and his name was Darth Venomous.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
that's mad.
But Palpatine ends up finding out and killing him. So Palpatine's like just a fucking crazy bastard.
Palpatine's so cool. Palpatine's such a cool character.
Yeah, man. This book is great too, man. Very, very good. Didn't you say you're reading this, Mike?
Yeah, I've got it. I got it for Christmas. I haven't got to it yet because I've been reading the Old Republic, but I do have it. Yeah. Another question.
The second question, Ozrap only says, "I've never watched it. Is it worth watching?" So basically,
fuck yeah, bro.
man.
Yeah.
For sure,
Like
bro.
we said, if you're 100% new to it, just keep it simple and start with the movies.
And we're sorry about the spoilers. Hopefully that
There's a
you,
lot of spoilers.
Yeah,
in this, bro.
yeah.
Hey, but yeah.
but hopefully you'll watch them and you'll forget what we said. So
I mean, there's so much Star Wars anyway, so you get spoiled. We haven't covered everything, no way.
no,
so.
we haven't. And would it make it any less enjoyable? No, because there is so much to watch. Like,
you want to get into it?
Would you start with the movies first, or
Yeah,
would you go
and
movies?
then movies, Clone Wars, Rebels. That's pretty much what I think. That's the starter pack.
Perfect starter pack.
Honestly,
yeah.
if you want to do it in sequence of how they were all done, Google it, because you should probably watch Clone Wars before you get into four. Like there's an order to do things.
It's like Marvel. If you watch Marvel movies, they're kind of doing a similar thing now with all these new Star Wars shows. It's like there's a timeline of events, and you can kind of Google it and watch in that order. Where where's best to start?
If you get 1 to 9, then you're going back in time to watch that. So I think it's better to do 1 to 3 Clone Wars. Like have a good Google, because obviously as we're watching everything that comes out, we never had that luxury. But I've gone back and watched it in those orders. It's totally
So worth it. It's so worth
good,
it.
so good.
There's something else I was going to say too, and I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. I don't know. It'll come back to me.
Was that all the questions?
Yeah, that was all the questions I got for now.
Yeah, interesting.
Mask.
It's annoying. We tried, but
Far out. Yeah, sorry, I was taking photos and shit for the thumbnail.
Yeah, I don't
It's a
remember
perfect starter
what I was
pack,
gonna say.
man. Starter pack movies, Clone Wars, because Clone Wars then answers a lot of questions. Like I said, it's kind of like the glue, and then Rebels then continues on the story with a new batch of characters. Great character build.
If you don't have Disney Plus, get Disney Plus. Disney Plus is the
it's
best
got
way
it
to watch all the Star
It's got it
Wars.
all.
And if you haven't watched any Star Wars, you'll get your money's worth, and then you can just cancel after it. Yeah, you get your money's worth, because it has
sure.
everything. Every single thing Star Wars. It even has like a free make. It's just like, I've watched everything I possibly could, and everything's been good in its own way.
All right, so another thing I wanted to bring up too before I forget it is the whole was Jar Jar wasn't that bad.
Oh, bro, the Darth Jar Jar, bro.
So hold on, just quickly, like I said before I forget, George Lucas literally, like I said, Star Wars fans, you cunts are so fucking sooky and toxic. George Lucas literally said in many interviews that Jar Jar was the key to everything. He was the main fucking villain.
You can see it in the movies too.
The main villain, but because the community hated him so much that George Lucas canned it. That is
he
fucking
didn't do it.
bullshit.
Honestly, he should have done what he wanted
That
to
is
do.
ridiculous.
Because the thing is, like, I don't think, like, even like when I was shit with my missus loved Jar Jar. Like, Jar Jar was misunderstood, and yes, maybe they made this cunt, sorry for the language, but a spastic.
A little bit
He was
annoying.
legitimately a spastic. But this spastic, that was maybe a spoiler long. Like, imagine he just kind of like he just starts going nuts, and
Bro,
it would have been awesome.
Have you seen
It
the
would have been
YouTube
awesome.
the YouTube things where there's series of like how he was planting it, and you can see Jar Jar in the background doing shit that kind of hints to him being
He's
evil.
fucking
ready to
mind
go.
controlling people
Yeah,
and shit
like
in the
he's
background.
miming the words they're saying. Like that would have been so cool. I reckon.
You have Palpatine and you have Jar Jar. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
Everything they did, but they should have added that in. Like, it sucks that they
Honestly,
didn't do
right,
that.
right after Vader being Luke's father, that would have been the biggest plot twist, I reckon, in film history. If he fucking went through with that, bro. I reckon that was one of his biggest fuck ups.
Such a missed opportunity, man.
One of his biggest fuck ups, because that would have been a fucking crazy plot twist. So, once again, for people who aren't really, because there'd be a lot of people who like Star Wars, but they're not as into it as us, and they don't watch YouTube videos. For people who don't know, George Lucas from the beginning of Star Wars, like the whole point was Jar Jar was meant to be Darth Sidious's master, and he was going to be the main like protagonist, like the main villain, like controlling. So basically, what Sidious did to Vader, how Sidious was in the shadows and shit. It was meant to be Jar Jar doing that, and Palpatine being the politician, the face of the whole thing. But because people hated Jar Jar so bad, which like I don't even think he was that annoying. I personally,
He wasn't as bad as
like,
everyone else made him out to be.
like, you know what I mean? I think his screen time was quite like enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I didn't watch Star Wars for the first time and go, oh, what the fuck, and like want to turn it off. No, I just watched it and I was like, oh yeah, cool. It's like a weird little alien thing. He's
It
fucking
makes
around.
sense. You're in a weird planet. There
He's a
is some
fucking
weird
alien.
ass
It
things.
makes
and
sense.
like,
He's a- you know what I
well,
mean?
how do you want him to act normal?
Exactly.
He can't act normal.
So George Lucas ends up canning him being the main villain because people just disliked it so much.
What it could have been, man. I think a lot of Star Wars fans, like, I hope you listen to it and you go, oh, man, maybe they're right, because I think a lot of them don't think of it like that. I think it would have been good. He would have made that good. That would have been interesting.
I would have loved that, bro.
would have been
I would have
beautiful.
loved
Think
that.
about a character that is a mastermind that can trick everybody, including the Jedi, who are meant to be very smart, but like, and then show how he was doing it. Oh, like,
But
I don't know if is there a way they go. They say they can't now.
They can't.
No, it's too late now. Jar Jar ended up being a street performer after they covered in the books, like on Naboo. Everyone hated him.
that's so.
Yeah, they faded out
because not just that too, because Jar Jar would have been so powerful with the dark side, that because remember, like what Sidious was doing for years with because the Jedi can sense shit. You can sense the dark side and other Force users. So the whole time, Palpatine was masking his presence. And that alone apparently is such a mission to do while you're talking and moving around. So even that takes a lot of skill and power. So even there's a bits of info in like comics and shit that Palpatine was so you know how as soon as he fights Windu, he just turns into like a fucking like an ugly stone,
a shriveled penis.
Shriveled, yeah.
So that's what it looks like.
Basically, Palpatine was actually also masking the way he looked. He was keeping his features not to look so fucked up with the Force, and that alone apparently is such a like a feat of power kind of thing. So Jar Jar, the whole time acting like a fucking idiot, and also masking his power with the dark side against however many Jedi there were, even Master Yoda himself. That would have been the craziest fucking turn of events. He was around
to everybody. He was around, like, he led them into Naboo. He, like, you know, like, think about it. Like, he convinced, like, the people, and he was like, you know, he's like, oh, yeah, this guy's an idiot, but he still, think about how much he covered and how much
he was setting everything up.
Wasn't Jar Jar the one who convinced everyone to give emergency powers to the Chancellor?
Yeah, that's part of the theory as well, as, like, that's why it was plot, like, he was part of it.
Yeah, man. Fucking hell.
That would have been cool. Is that confirmed, though? That I thought that was speculated.
No, bro. George Lucas confirmed. There's an interview where it's not an interview, but like it's a recording of George Lucas talking to the voice actor of Jar Jar. And George Lucas is sitting there and he's saying shit like, yeah, no. He's like, no. He's like, Jar Jar is the key to all of this.
Yeah, that's mad.
It's full audio.
When I saw in the background what he's doing, I'm like, because it's animated, so there's definitely
it's not a mistake.
They're taking time, but like
they're animating the hand movements.
Yeah,
and
like he was definitely
you know?
Planned to be something more, and that was cool. I thought, but
it's a fucking massive missed opportunity. I reckon, man. Honest to God, like that.
But that's the thing with Star Wars too. There's so many fans. It's huge that some people just, you know, they're just bitches.
Yeah, like we'd be in the 1%. Like everyone will have different opinions. That's why it's so enjoyable about
such
a big,
a huge
vast
franchise.
community. Yeah,
man, far out. Another little trilogy I want to bring up. I don't think you two have read this, but which one's the first one? Aftermath. Okay, so it's called the Aftermath trilogy. This is fucking beautiful as well. The first one is Life Debt. This shit here, right? This is great. So this follows the story of what's her name again? Oh no, that's weird. The book doesn't have like a little oh, there we go. Doesn't have a synopsis. So this follows the crew of Nora Wexley. And so Nora's Nora is partners with the famous pilot Wedge Antilles. Everyone's heard of Wedge. He was in the
movies, the original.
In the
I've
movies
seen
and
all
shit.
of these Star Wars fan pages. They go, who do you reckon the greatest pilot? Everyone says Wedge. Everyone says Wedge.
Wedge was one of the greatest rebel pilots. So this follows Nora Wexley and her son, and she's got a crew. And this actually follows directly after episode 6. So what happens is, again, spoilers alert if you haven't fucking seen this shit or read this shit, is okay, so basically what I'm going to say first is this trilogy made the last movie enjoyable for me. So you know how everyone was a little bit confused about like, why is there a Sith fleet? Like that's so random. No, that's not fucking random. That's in this shit.
Yeah, that's mad.
So that's why, to me, at the end of that movie, I was like, oh my God, yes. But no one else, even all my mates, none of them understood what was happening. But I knew because of this fucking trilogy. So this follows directly after episode 6. The Empire is finally destroyed, but what happens? Obviously, not all the Imperials are dead. So half of them go on the run. High-ranking Imperials. So fun fact too, by the way, George Lucas based Star Wars a lot on World War II.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's like the Nazis.
The Empire, he has said that the Empire was 100% based on the Nazis. Anyway, so it follows like high-ranking Imperial Navy officers who are on the run in Star Destroyers, and they're trying to like get away. This crew hunts down those people trying to escape from the Empire. They end up discovering, basically, after the Emperor dies, and a few different people die here and there, the Empire falls into the hands of a commander called Commander Ray Sloan. All right, so basically everyone turns to her in the Empire that's left, and she has basically got full control of the Empire. And what ends up happening is the trilogy follows this crew, and this crew, Nora Wexley and stuff, end up meeting up with Han Solo and Princess Leia. And they end up chasing Ray Sloan across the galaxy, trying to end her because they know she could potentially start like a rebirth and shit like that. So they're trying to chase her. Another fun fact, which was very interesting in this book, they've got a guy in the crew, and he's actually gay. I thought that was a cool little random thing. Like, it was just so random, but at the end of the book, like, he's actually gay and he's got like a husband and shit. So that was fucking real. That was cool.
In the High Republic too, there's a gay couple in that.
Yeah. So they're doing this crazy shit, you know what I mean? They get fucking trapped and they get saved by Han Solo, and Princess Leia comes into it, and all this crazy shit's happening. I'm pretty sure this trilogy is the very first time too that in canon you found out that Princess Leia was Force sensitive, that she could use the Force in a very mild way. I'm pretty sure it was this book, because there's a part where Princess Leia is having like a dream or something about, because I think she's pregnant or something. And then the Force ends up telling her that her son's going to be like a Force user or some shit along those lines. Yeah, but the way that it ends is Palpatine somehow gets a message to Ray Sloan saying that there is a Sith fleet. And your main mission is to get to that fleet, right? So what I'm very disappointed in is in the last movie, the whole movie I was waiting to see Ray Sloan like just come out of somewhere, or maybe Ray Sloan was the one like looking after the Palpatine clone or whatever, but they didn't bring it in at all. That's what I was upset about. But Ray Sloan, the trilogy ends, they don't catch her. She ends up getting away, and it's just her. The book just ends with her like she approaches a Sith, like a hidden Sith fleet, or whatever, and then the series just ends.
I've heard, isn't it like they say Exegol is where she goes?
So
Ray Sloan goes.
I can't remember. But she knows about the Sith fleet. So that's why that whole last movie, I'm like, okay, yep. When are they going to bring her in? It should be now. Okay, now. And she never come. And I was like, man, fuck. It's all the small details that Disney fucking always fuck up and leave out.
Yeah, I guess they can't put in everything, but it's frustrating from a reader like yourself.
But like I said, man, this trilogy, another great one. If you really want to get into the reading, the Aftermath trilogy, it's got all the favorites. You've got Chewbacca. Oh, that's right. Sorry. The first book starts off with them saving Chewie. They go to Kashyyyk to fucking get Chewie or whatever the fuck, and they recruit Han Solo and shit like that. So it's a very fucking good read, that one, man. Very good read.
Yeah, I got to read all this shit after.
Oh, it's like homework. There's so much shit. It's a good kind of homework, isn't it?
Okay, so Meegliatis has a question.
Yeah, so just kind of on the question you asked before, your favourite Sith, and a very tough question, I know. Who's your favourite Jedi or Jedis?
Yeah, fuck. You go first.
It's got to be Yoda for me, bro.
Yeah,
I like the bad guys way better, but Yoda's fucking cool, man. Qui-Gon's mad too. But yeah, probably Yoda.
Fuck, man, it's so hard, bro. I don't know, like,
Do you want me to go? What do you think?
You go.
So my favorite always when I was a kid, similar to Dylan, was Qui-Gon. I loved Qui-Gon because I loved the green lights, and I just loved like Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson's the best.
Yeah,
Like,
Liam
How
Neeson,
cool did he play that character? Like he was just such a comforting character, and he was just, he was so cool, man. Like he might have misread like Anakin and like caused a lot of shit for him, but in the end of the day, he was a great character. But after finishing all Clone Wars and that, like I was like, wait a minute. The best Jedi to me is Ahsoka, bro. I love Ahsoka.
Yeah,
and
fuck yeah, Ahsoka.
like, I'm not trying to be sexist here, but there are a few of some of the female characters. I'm like, yeah, they're all right, but Ahsoka was outstanding. She was so
she
cool,
was done
so
so
strong.
well.
Like, she was really good, and she's my favorite Jedi now. I got her and Darth Maul.
Yeah,
and
it's cool
she's
how
great, man.
people didn't like her at first either, but then she grew on them. Now she's like a fan
Mandalorian,
favorite.
you're like, holy,
Yeah.
she's excellent, man. The way, you see her at the start, and the way you got to see her so much time. Think of it, you got probably her as a Jedi more than you got anybody else as a Jedi.
Yeah, you did.
Because it started her as a young Padawan, and like being called Snips, and then evolving into this like crazy character we see today. So that's the way they done it was genius.
Oh
man.
yeah, she was
Fuck yeah.
Genius.
Well, yeah,
And the white lightsabers, like, that's
at
cool,
the end
bro.
when she leaves,
great
yeah,
Jedi.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I mean. At the end of the day, I think the more I think of it, Anakin Skywalker, man, he was so strong. He's got to be my favorite.
Yeah,
Training
he's a
Ahsoka,
fan
and
favorite.
not just that too. Anakin Skywalker, especially in the Clone Wars, his attitude was so laid back. Like he was just
So different,
jumping in
eh?
ways of enemies.
No, but
and
he
just
was
killing-
always
like,
doing crazy shit, and they always knew that he was like he did
The
things his
strongest,
own
yeah.
way. He did things his own way, like of course it's Anakin Skywalker, but he was so successful. His like completion rate of missions was like 95%. So like he always just he did it his own way. He didn't listen to the council,
But he got shit done.
yeah, he got shit done, man, and that's why Ahsoka kind of the way she is because she was trained by him.
by
Obi-Wan's so cool too, though, man. That Kenobi
yeah,
show.
Obi-Wan.
I love Obi-Wan. You
See,
can't hate Obi-Wan.
There's so many good characters.
He was
man.
the perfect dad character.
I'm
He
so
was the
keen for
laid
the show.
back
How
one.
good-
They're like, you know,
Yeah.
And Ewan McGregor, man, he loves the role too. Like, it's mad when
Yeah.
the actors love it too. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Qui-Gon, like, Liam Neeson loves
And
it. Like, he's
honestly-
keen to play it again.
How cool is that news that Hayden Christensen
coming back.
is
Yeah.
coming
That's
back
dope.
in that, and as you said, the guy that plays Obi-Wan, they're gonna both be in the Obi-Wan. That Obi-Wan
They
series.
fight. They announced that they
Like,
fight again.
Same thing. Like you don't-
Really?
Yeah, they said there's going to be a fight.
And
Like,
they're gonna have,
Wow. See, Dave Filoni, man, he's a fucking job.
And the guy that plays Boba Fett is going to be in there, and he's going to play. He's confirmed to be in there, so you don't know if he's going to play Rex, but it'd probably have to be Commander Cody because Cody was always with Obi-Wan. But what do they do? Do they go and do they bring Duchess Satine into it, who was his love interest in the? Which I enjoyed all that stuff in Mandalore that they brought out there. Like same thing. You're watching Mandalorian. I think you need to do your history, and watching that was so good. I don't know what they're going to do with the Obi-Wan. I think it's going to be set after, but. At the same time, it'd be cool if they really got involved in that stuff.
I got a good question. What's your favorite piece of Star Wars Mine, I think Mandalorian's my favorite, bro. I think, man, I love
Man.
seeing Moff get like it's like modern.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like Disney
that's
money
what I've-
budget, like how it should be.
That's what I've always said, and I know a lot of OG fans will fucking not be happy with this, but I've always said, man, I would 100% be happy if they remade all the films,
please.
but with today's technology.
Imagine 4, 5,
The
6
original
of today's
trilogy
style.
is my least
Today-
favorite because it's like
it's so
it's hard to
old.
watch. I'm
It's
young,
so
man. Like,
old, like-
You go back and you rewatch it, and the story is excellent.
Yeah.
But it's just like that's what was so big back in its time. But I think the answer to my question is still even the Mandalorian. Oh my god, it's amazing. Clone Wars, man. I love, and honestly, Rebels is so close to Clone Wars. Rebels is so underrated because Rebels conveyed so much. It's like the first time a full fresh set of characters, and they killed it. You compare it to when they brought all these new characters from 7 to 9. When they did this in Rebels, like these characters, I loved Ezra. Ezra as a character was outstanding. Like to show how this little kid just evolved into what he was. He was a badass, man. And they weren't just because it was on Disney XD. They weren't afraid to kill characters and do this and be like, you know what? Nah, this is going down this way. I'm telling you, yeah, the cartoons are my favorite to me. But yeah, Mandalorian. By the time it's done, I'll probably change my mind. I'm open.
Only thing, look, Rebels Rebels is great. Not as good as Clone Wars for me, only because, like you said, Rebels did originally come out on Disney XD, which is literally kids Disney, and
that's still
in
crazy.
Rebels, like the stormtroopers literally don't hit a single target in the
No.
whole thing, right? And in Rebels, like Seb in shit, they're jumping in the like stormtroopers AT-ATs and they're killing them by just knocking their heads together and shit like that. Like that to me, I was like, oh. in Clone Wars, bro, people were getting shot and Jedi's are, you know, like
Clone Wars was more gritty.
it was a bit more, you know what
But
I
you
mean?
go away from that and you look at the story that they still
great
conveyed.
story,
It was
though. Still a great
incredible. And then
story.
as the seasons got on, they got more and more
They got a
hardcore.
bit-
Yeah, the later seasons look fucking great. I'm definitely
bro.
going to watch it, but it's just, you know.
Put it on your top of your priority list,
Yeah,
man. And
I
we'll
haven't
have a
got around to it.
conversation. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, Clone Wars for me is the top. What about you, Iggy? You didn't fully.
My favorite piece of Star Wars content, man. Honestly, bro, Attack of the Clones.
That movie.
The movie,
Just that movie.
Attack of the Clones. The
Yeah.
number,
I was
the
going to
second
ask
one.
that. What's your
Second one.
favorite movie? Was going to be my
Yeah.
next question.
That to me was fucking beautiful.
Out of the
Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie for sure.
Attack of the Clones, bro. That Battle of Geonosis, man, far out.
Out of the
Really?
out of the
Yeah,
nine, out of the
Yeah.
9 movies, I'd agree
Yeah.
with Iggy. My favorite movie is Attack of the Clones as well. Bro,
Yeah.
that scene where they're in the stadium and it's Obi,
That-
Anakin,
and
and
they're
Padme, and they're
bro.
fighting those three. I was like,
Not just that too, bro.
And then
Just
Mace
the
Windu comes-
whole.
That's interesting.
The whole Battle of Geonosis. It's just a like. Think of all the war movies, right? They've never done like a desert battle.
Big battle.
There's no cover. So it's just you're gonna die, and they're just running at each
Yeah.
other, bolts flying.
Yeah, Mundy, Kit
they got
Fitzo,
big-
they're all throwing
yeah,
down, man. And
That was
Windu,
done. That was done excellent.
You know, Grievous was in the Battle of Geonosis too, but they didn't show it. Like they confirmed that Grievous. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would've-
yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
man.
I know,
I wish they did more.
Yeah, but I
Grievous.
think they
Yeah.
wanted to. Each movie they had a new focused villain,
Yeah.
which cool, not. But that's why they probably didn't.
Attack
Because in
of-
number
that's-
3 they had
Grievous.
Grievous as the main villain.
Attack of the Clones. What an interesting. I would have never picked that.
Yeah,
Fuck
no,
yeah.
Attack
Yeah,
of the
3's very
Clones,
close, man. But
That Anakin and Obi-Wan fight in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh,
bro,
yeah,
it's
no,
like,
one of the greatest scenes ever.
Revenge of the Sith is then second favorite.
You were
But
the
Attack of the-
chosen one.
They both got blue lightsabers. That's cool too. It's blue on blue, and they're fighting
Yeah,
like
I
fucking
just-
swinging.
I think I preferred Attack of the Clones just because for me, still as a person, it was so hard for me to like let go of Anakin being good. Like that was so difficult, bro. But at the end of the day, he did it for love.
Yeah.
Which every movie is basically based on love or
Love,
hate,
friendship or something.
You know what I mean?
Didn't
So
Yoda have that fight in Attack on the Clones with
Count Dooku.
Count
Oh,
Dooku,
how
yeah.
good was that
Bro, and they're
fight?
doing the
Bro,
Force
Bro,
shit
I
and they're
remember in the
fucking-
cinemas as a young kid watching that, laughing with Yoda, the way he could maneuver, and that was such a good fight scene, man. That was so good. That was full
Man,
of action.
There's a
It was
lot
just
of
full
prequel
beast.
haters too, man. Like,
I'm gonna take something out.
Oh,
Holy shit! I'm gonna bring it down.
relax, man. Holy
Villain on
shit.
villain.
This is great, bro. I need one.
I've got
yeah,
like the
bro,
Audi budget version.
so worth it, bro. So worth it. These
And
are
that's just a weight.
these are
know,
meant for
like-
battling too. Like they're
you can
battle.
hit them-
Yeah,
I need a blue one.
You know,
I want
in
a green one.
France, in France, they're trying to make it like an Olympic sport. Like it's a full on, bro.
They're like fencing, but
Yeah,
with
no,
sabers.
it's got a point system like fencing,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
you should see the videos. They're just in robes and they're full swinging around.
Oh
It's fucking
my
cool.
Let's go,
God, let's
bro.
go,
We're
bro.
going Jedi and stuff.
We become professional.
And that's
fucking.
that's what
dumb, man.
that's what the hobby is. Like the proper lightsabers are expensive, like $500 lightsabers. That's what they use them for.
Yeah, wow.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it's running out of battery.
Can you change the batteries on these?
No, you charge it.
Oh,
You charge
it's
it.
chargeable.
Yeah, you
wow.
just plug it in, bro. Yeah.
If
Far out.
you had a lightsaber, would you be running a single thing like this, or would you have a cool double style?
yeah.
I'd definitely have dual.
And what color would your kyber crystal be?
Red. I'm a Sith,
Honestly,
bro.
mine would.
I'm a Sith.
Look-
mine would probably be like, I'd have to go for like the purples and shit like that. Mine would
Green's
be-
my favorite, but when I played the game, I went to orange. And orange
Yeah.
looked nuts because I just was like, all right, this is different. But green's my favorite color. I'd rock a green, but in the game, I rocked an orange the whole time because maybe the character was Ranger, but it looked really cool with him. But yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna get like you can design your own hilts. I'm gonna get a curved hilt.
Remember
Yeah.
Disneyland? We went to Disneyland.
Yeah,
the
they
whole
had
Star
them
Wars
there.
section.
They
You
had-
build your own lightsaber.
Oh,
like
that's
obviously, it's like
mad.
a version like this thing, but a bit more better than this. And you choose which type of base, which color. Like
I'm pretty sure that one too was
Pieces.
also like
Brad got one.
300, 200
Yeah,
bucks
but
USD or
it was-
something, wasn't
it
it?
was nuts. It
They
wasn't
got
like this
crazy
thing.
websites, man. You do your own hilt. Like the next one, I want to get like this because you can. Even for this one, this is like a cheapo version. It was 120 bucks, but like you just pick the color of the blade and a couple hilts. It was like 4 hilts. The next one I'm gonna get is gonna be silver with the green.
Yeah,
like
fuck
get a
yeah.
Yoda like a proper one.
That's why I can't wait to move out, man. Fuck, my studio's gonna be a whole back wall full of just weird shit, bro.
Lightsabers, yeah.
Lightsabers and helmets and shit. But fucking hell, yeah.
It'd be great for the podcast.
Fucking hell.
When you have all crazy shit in there.
What else was I gonna bring up? Fuck, just so.
There's so much. Like,
So,
we could
yeah.
ramble
Go
on.
forever.
Like if we did that 24-hour podcasting, you just bring us in for like a 4-hour session to talk Star Wars, and then
Talk
we just
about
tag
fucking-
in with other people. But yeah,
But well, so what about the end of Mandalorian season 2? The whole spoiler alert. Yeah, fucking.
Soundboard.
What else you got on there?
I've got. That's our spoiler alert.
Yeah, I like
fucking,
that.
Skywalker being that last Jedi who comes in.
I like
Come
that.
on, that was the
It made
obvious
sense.
choice.
Yeah. But who did you want
I
it
will
to be?
still enjoy it. Like, it will still enjoy. I wanted it to be Ahsoka, but I was still enjoyable
you knew it
seeing
couldn't be Ahsoka.
You saw
Skywalker.
Ahsoka already.
I wanted it to be Ezra as a massive
yeah.
Ezra fan.
Oh,
Because I wanted it to be Ezra Bridger, and it could be Ezra Bridger. And but when Luke come, like honestly, I love Luke, but I didn't want it to be Luke because I wanted to do something else. But when Luke come, it made sense. Look at the attachment he had with Yoda, and it made a lot of sense. And as soon as that fight scene comes, like, who the hell is it? Green lightsaber. Ezra's got a green lightsaber. Luke's got a green lightsaber. And then you have a look at the hand.
As soon as I
And then I
saw
was like,
as soon as I saw the ship,
the way
I
he was
knew.
fighting, yeah, obviously the ship gave it away, but you still were optimistic. I was like, all right, are they trying to trick you? Because I thought Luke was the obvious. It's who I was expecting,
I was expecting Luke.
but I was expecting a plot twist.
I would have
Yeah.
liked Cal too. If I saw Cal, I would have been.
Cal would have been a
Yeah,
very
He looks
interesting
exactly
direction.
like the actor from
Yeah.
Shameless. He does it in Shameless too. He's a great actor.
Or the guy from Riverdale. That guy looks just like Cal
Yeah,
Kestis.
Archie's
but
a Rangai.
the character in the game looks exactly like the actor who
Yeah,
plays
it
it.
does,
He's
yeah.
in Shameless. You know
Oh,
the
is
show
he-
Shameless.
I haven't seen
He's
Shameless.
a pretty big
but
actor.
Do you know the guy that's in Riverdale? The main,
Archie,
is that the same guy? Archie.
No.
He looks just like Cal Kestis too.
He's in the Gotham show too. He does the Joker.
plays
like
Gotham.
Joker.
Oh, yeah, I've watched
He's a great
Gotham.
actor. He's mad. Like,
Yeah.
so I would have been happy with
See,
him.
that ending was another beautiful thing of seeing Luke. Like, I think people just want to see Jedi and Sith going savage.
That's what people like.
Like,
in
that's
Rogue
what we
One,
want.
Darth
We
Vader.
want to see fucking things getting like, you know what I mean?
We've had enough of all this stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. I thought the Rogue One story was excellent, and Han Solo was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I like
But
Solo.
it is time to let these things unleash, and we
Yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
see some
Battles,
crazy
bro.
shit.
Darth Vader and Rogue. That's the best scene,
And
man.
far
The
out.
light- it's all dark.
I remember I went to the cinema. Who did I go to the cinema to see that with?
I've been to everything with you.
Yeah, me and you went
watched
2
everything,
times.
and we
We
watched
always go
everything
twice.
twice because the first time you have all this shock and awe
And
and
the second
amazement, but the
time
second
you understand what's
yeah,
happening.
you take it in more.
Yeah, same thing with like all the Harry Potter things. I do the same thing with those. I go watch them twice because the second time you fill in all the blanks you missed because you're just
Yeah.
there going, oh.
Man, that Rogue One scene with Vader, bro. I swear the
So
cinema
good,
just started. I remember there was like an islander.
Did everyone clap?
Everyone just started going.
Like,
Because I remember that there was an islander bloke right next to me on my right, and he was with his son, and the son was young, like maybe
He's dragging
5,
his kid
6.
with him.
He had no idea what's going on, bro. And this islander dad was like literally on the edge of his fucking seat. And then when that happened, he was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, like that.
How many times have we cheer ourselves in the cinema going, oh my god, like. Yeah, and as you said earlier in the podcast, man, like you always reference the books and you'd be like, no, I was just expecting this.
Yeah.
And it was always nice to converse in that because I've learned a lot from his knowledge in the books. He's converted it to me, which is great. It's like cheating. Don't have to read the books as soon. But
You got to do audio. I want to start getting into audiobooks, bro.
Oh, bro, it'd
just
be
play 'em
easy.
at the gym. Just play the fucking Star Wars.
It'd be
book.
easy. It'd be easy. A lot of people would learn. Like,
It's
I know
cool
you're a
'cause
reader,
it's cool,
but
but
They
it would
do
suit
it with
certain
voices
people.
and shit. They do sound effects and shit. It's mad.
it would suit certain people, man. I think it's worth it. I've never ever done it, but I think
Me
I
neither.
definitely could see
Yeah,
myself
I've
getting
never
into
done
that.
The
I reckon I could too.
The only thing I'm scared about is because, especially like the books I was reading before with Anthony Ryan, I read reviews. Apparently, the audiobooks, same thing like a movie. A lot of people think that the audiobooks didn't do the actual book justice because it's so different when you picture something in your own mind.
But they're just reading it to you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So the way you read it and the way someone says a line can be very different. So I can picture a character. So I can picture Darth Vader saying to Luke, "I am your father." I can read that like him in my head. He's going, "No, Luke, I am your father," like that. But an audiobook could just be a guy going, "Luke, I am your father."
Luke,
Yeah.
I am your father.
Yeah, and
But there's good ones where they do voice. It's like voice acting.
there would like something like Disney. They probably are great because they probably have the actual actors or whoever coming in to do the lines, whatever. But with normal books, I don't feel like it'd be the way to go. But
Yeah, it's just finding the time to read, like fucking hell.
It's a lot, man.
what do you mean, bro? You got time every night before
Yeah,
bed.
I know. Yeah, but
You
like,
just put.
well-
That's why I mean, not the past 2 weeks. I've been fucking so fucking busy
All
and
we've done is
tired
work,
with
work,
work.
work.
But it's especially last year, me and my girlfriend Chloe, we were getting in bed. This is no shit of a joke, right? And people can't believe this when I tell them. Me and her were getting in bed at fucking like 7:30 at night.
Oh wow,
Early
that's
as
good, man.
fuck.
I can't do that.
So we'd come home, we'd have dinner, we'd watch a TV. That's why we never finished shows, because we would watch a show for literally 10, 15 minutes and then we'd go, no, we wouldn't fall asleep. We were getting in bed at 7:30 to read.
Oh, I didn't even know she read too.
Yeah, no, because I was trying to help her for ages to get into it, and she actually started it, finished the book. She's got like 2 other books she started, so that's been fucking good for her too. So I was trying to help her get into reading, and then because I remember one time she was like, "Oh, you know what? I really want to get into reading." I'm like, "No," I'm like, "Good." I'm like, "Good. Trust me, bro. It will help you sleep. It calms you down. Like it's just so good." So me and her were getting in bed at like 7:30, but by 7:45, 8 o'clock the latest, we'll both already in bed and we'd both just read our books. And she'd read till about maybe 8 to like 8:40, 9 o'clock, because she gets up at like 4:30 in the morning every day because she goes gym before work. So she was doing that, but I'd read till like 10:30 at night every day, and I'm reading, but I wasn't waking up tired. Because I literally believe I wasn't on my phone, I wasn't fucking around on the computer, like hurting my eyes and shit like that. I was relaxed. My breathing's real like soft, real like calm. I'm reading shit I'm enjoying, and then I'd fall asleep. There's been many times where I'd fall asleep and the book's just on my nose, bro, like it's balancing like that, bro. So I've fallen asleep and I'll wake up and I'm in the best fucking mood. I'm like, bro, it's like I watched the movie. I'm like, wait, did that happen last night? I'm like, holy fuck, this guy did this and this, and like Obi-Wan did this. I'm like, holy shit. And then the rest of the whole day in the back of my mind,
thinking of the book.
I'm thinking of the book of what's happened. I'm like, oh my fucking god, like it'd be like reading manga for anime. It'd be the same fucking thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like you are picturing your own movie in your head. It's the best fucking thing.
Everyone
your
likes
own
reading
background, your
too.
own scenes.
You just got to get into it. You got to jump over that first hurdle to start, man. Just start.
Because you know what a lot of people base it to is when you're in high school and stuff like that. An example, you'd have to do those book reports and you'd have to do them. And I was like, well, I'm telling you, I'll finish this book, and I'd just keep flying for them because I thought if you finish it faster, you'd be better than everyone else. But that wasn't the case. And I wasn't like, and then you go to like, I was like, holy crap, what the hell was this book even about? And a lot of people just struggle to store information as they go along. Even I have glimpses of it now, and that's why I can't fully pump through it. But yeah, my main issue is I've got too many commitments of like anime. So it's absorbs you. But I will get to it, man. And it is.
It takes effort, like for sure.
Yeah,
but
some people just prefer watching. But
like in the old days, before even movies and shit, everyone read. That's what they did for entertainment. That's all they had. Yeah, you could only read. Like so,
games or playing sports.
Human nature to read shit, man.
Yeah, fucking for sure, man. Yeah, honestly, I highly recommend. Even if you're not that good at reading, like even the comic books, man, are fucking great.
Yeah, I want to get into comics.
Like there's a comic book.
Comic books are so good, man. They're so easy to read and follow, and it's not real information heavy. That's why it's like nice and pleasing. Got pictures there, so if you struggle to have a bit of an imagination, then comics are for you.
Yeah, that looks mad.
You can borrow. You can borrow this if you want.
Yeah,
These
fuck
this is.
I'll pump through that.
Iggy bought me a few for my birthdays in the past years. He always get me a Star Wars thing every birthday. I'm telling you, these comics are great. I've got a few Darth Maul
These
ones.
are great.
And
They're
good
canon
to collect.
too, aren't they? Those ones, the Vader.
It's all canon, and to think about it, like you want this in your collection, 100%. Like a wall of comics.
Cool,
it's great. Like you have a comic book shelf, man.
See, the comics are awesome too, because these are just fucking like
full action
these
too,
are just random little side stories on what characters are doing. And like, for example, this one's like so this is I think Darth Vader meets Dr. Aphra. Well, not meets Dr. Aphra, but like, yeah, and Dr. Aphra was basically, she's got like a Wookiee, like a Wookiee power, I'm pretty sure. And she just goes around, but then Darth Vader comes in, but Darth Vader doesn't slaughter her. Like, so he's got like a slight little interest.
Show me a scene out of that book. Look how pretty it is to look at.
Look at the
It's so cool. The art is unreal, man.
The
Show
art
the camera, Iggy. Turn it around. Like, just have a look at that.
I'll zoom in on that. The art in this, man, is just
looks so good, man.
it is. Look at that. Look at the
Look
colors.
at the
Look at
colours.
the fucking colors.
It's talent, bro. Being able to draw like that, that shit.
It's unreal. So you can borrow that if you want. These are
fucking
that's
oath,
great.
man. I'll read
You can read these in literally 5 minutes.
Yeah. Fuck
So
it.
easy
You
to
just-
pump, man. That'd be a good quick thing before we just read a comic book a night.
Yeah.
That'd be easy to pump, man. And you can do it in order and stuff like that. And yeah, like that's so cool to have to collection, man. I used to buy, I forget where we were, and I bought a bunch of them out at Disney World. They had heaps of comics. I bought heaps of comics from Disney World.
Yeah, I want to start because I'm into the High Republic, man. I want to get all the shit that's coming out. I really like that era, man. It's interesting, so I want to get the comics and shit.
Book every 3 months, so we got one in June, and then another one comes out. So yeah, I want to try and finish it by June.
They got to do.
They got comics too, like
yeah, the comics would be awesome as long as they do it properly and they don't like fuck around with it and make it real kid friendly. Like there's got to be a little bit of grit, and then it will be.
Well, the books aren't very kid friendly. They got people getting their shit cut off and their eyes cut out and shit. And I got a question. What's your most looked forward to Star Wars thing that's not out but is announced and is coming out? Because there's a lot, man.
Fuck. Not the acolyte. There was something in that poster little thing, that little roadmap. It just looked fucking awesome.
There was one, and it was about Siths. And I can't remember if is that Acolyte.
Acolyte is about the dark side in High Republic.
That's the one I'm most interested to because I want one where they fully focus on the dark side. Let's go full dark and hardcore. And that, to me, seemed obviously other than Obi-Wan, because I love Obi-Wan, the Acolyte seemed the most interesting. And I think that's the one that got a lot of hype too.
I'm excited for the Star Wars Lego games, bro, and the Ubisoft game too.
Bro, how good were those games?
Oh man,
I know we're talking about off air, but those games.
Episode 1 to 9, they're redoing them. It's going to be open world, but Lego 3,000 characters. Like, bro,
is it online? Like, can you play with your mates?
It probably will be.
If you could do it, how good would that be?
Yeah, I think it will be for sure.
Open world Lego.
And Ubisoft are doing one too, so they did Assassin's Creed and shit, like
all
open
the games
world.
they announced, like even if they do that open world Star Wars, that's what we need. Like what they did with that World of Warcraft when I said that Star Wars: The Old Republic, that is great, but I'd like a more updated one that you can play on consoles and stuff like that. And it's literally just you got a skill tree, you choose your own race, you choose your own this, and you go on.
Skyrim, but Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm after. Like I want to, be able to go with this. In Star Wars, you could choose to be not in that Skyrim, you can be an assassin. With that Star Wars, you want to be this type of Sith, and you can change. You can be
your race and shit.
I don't care if I spend 20 years on that. I'll play it from 60, but work on that game now, please.
They are. I think the Ubisoft, they've announced that it's going to be open world, but I'm sure you'll be like, you make your character and shit.
Like that Harry Potter open world game they're bringing out. Like they've literally postponed that by like another year because they're taking their time into this open world Harry Potter game. Do the same thing with the Star Wars game.
Yeah.
We don't care how long it takes as long as it's good.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Like I said, does anyone got a photo of that little roadmap that they?
I should be able to bring it up.
If you can find that, there was one that I saw and I was like, oh.
Because isn't there a Lando Calrissian? There's heaps.
Oh yeah, they got the Squadron movie coming out. It's a pilot movie that they're doing too in 2023, I think.
It kind of goes in with Rogue One. I'm pretty sure, like that main guy that played in Rogue One, that Mexican looking dude. He's in it.
Oh, from Narcos. I love that guy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's from Narcos.
He was in it too.
The
guy
Mexican
from Rogue One.
He's from the Mexican.
What? So they got him. He plays the Mando.
No, that's the other guy from Narcos. But
that's two guys from Narcos.
The main character that fell in love with Jyn Erso in Rogue One.
Yeah.
He's from the Mexican Narcos. He's from the Mexican.
Oh, the Mexican.
Yeah,
okay, that's why I was getting confused. I thought you were talking about what thingy Pascal. That's Mando.
No, not him.
He's in Narcos too. He's great as well.
He's a
how good of an actor is he?
Awesome actor.
He's excellent.
Awesome actor.
When you tell me a fun fact while I looked that up is that he actually didn't audition for the role. They come to him.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Fun fact. Andrew, whatever his name, Andrew Pascal.
Was it a Pedro?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. Yeah.
Pedro Pascal. He did not even have to audition or nothing. His agent just rang him and said, "Hey, look, I've just got emailed by Disney or whatever. They want you to do a Star Wars role." And that was it. And he just went, yeah, fucking oath, I want to do Star Wars. And
everyone does.
And like everyone likes Star Wars, bro. So he didn't even have to fucking think twice. He just said, yeah. But he had no idea it was going to be for a main character of a brand new thing. He thought it was going to be just like a little side character. And he's rocked up and they've given him the armor, the helmet and everything. He's gone, what the fuck? And they're like, bro, you're going to be the Mandalorian. He was like, wait, what?
His voice for it. His voice was excellent.
Yeah, he's great, bro.
Beautiful, man. Honestly.
So these shows they got here, have a look. I think you might be thinking of Visions. That's the anime one. They're going to animate in an anime style.
That'd be great because the best thing about anime is the animation. The way they make look is really aesthetically pleasing to look at by the eye. So there's so much. I think every single one of these, we'll watch every single one.
Visions. I've got no idea what it is.
Yeah, we don't know much information about a lot
mine's
of them.
Visions, just by that title.
I think there might be like the Book of Boba's not on here either. Like I think there's a couple.
That's the one that's coming first. We know that's coming this year, and we know Bad Batch, and the rest we're not really sure. Like I'm sure Mando will be out next year at some point.
Yeah, 2023.
And then isn't that also when Ahsoka is going to
No, isn't Mandalorian dropping this year in
No.
Christmas?
No.
Boba's
that's
next.
Boba.
Boba's
this year on Christmas.
Yeah,
That's
and
right. That's
Mandalorian's
right.
And
next year.
Ahsoka's next year, maybe. if you
I don't
said
know.
so.
Have they announced a date for that? I don't know about that.
Yeah, they haven't. Look, it's all over the shop, but man, it's just like, oh,
That's going to
really
be
greedy.
great.
I want it
I
all
love
now.
Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka's such a great. Do you know the
Yeah.
fans rallied for her to
Yeah,
be? As
they,
like,
they
yeah,
rallied
yeah,
for her.
That's
So
mad.
she was one, and then also a lot of them wanted, because the voice actor of Ahsoka is outstanding. But Rosario Dawson, she has the
look.
the look for her. Where
And then what? The fans just randomly wanted her,
'Cause-
or was she
because
there was a
saying?
few.
No, they
There was
do
a
that
few.
all the time. Like with Benedict Cumberbatch now, they reckon he'll make a great Thrawn. They're trying to.
Oh, yeah.
He'd
okay.
be an excellent.
But he already
Thrawn.
said no. He already said because like they did an
He said
interview.
no?
Because like he didn't even know who the character was. But when they asked him in the interview, they mentioned that he has blue skin, and he was like, "Oh no way! I'm not gonna sit in a makeup chair for 6 hours, be painted because he's like Doctor Strange and shit as well." you
Yeah.
know?
What do you mean? What is it? That's pretty fucking.
He'd be great, but
That's pretty fucking silly
Well,
for
he
him to
doesn't know who
say.
that
because
character is. I don't want him to get it.
not just that too. He played fucking Smaug, the dragon in The
Yeah.
Hobbit, and if you watch videos, that comes
his
crawling
motion
on the
cap-
floor like a
well,
fucking.
But he's probably just busy. Like I don't know. He just I don't know. It's
But yeah, but
full
for
body
him,
makeup.
For him to say he doesn't want to paint himself blue, yet he'll crawl around on the floor like a fucking like a peanut to do a roll. Come on, that's pretty fucking silly.
Well, it's a bit different, I guess. I mean, sitting in
yeah,
a
fair
makeup chair,
enough,
they sit in
fair
those
enough.
makeup
He-
chairs.
Well,
for
you know
fun.
what it is, then he just doesn't like Star Wars.
He doesn't know the character
Yeah,
either.
so
like-
any Star Wars fan, I don't give a fuck if you got to paint me blue for 10 hours every time before I have to do a film.
I don't care if it's to play
I
one of
will
those
do
little
it.
weird aliens in
I
that
don't give a
bar in
fuck.
Tatooine. I'll play that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
a lot of actors do have cameos as like stormtroopers and shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
famous and-
Apparently Ed Sheeran plays a stormtrooper,
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
that's
he?
right. I didn't know
they
that.
got Ed Sheeran
That's
playing a
cool.
stormtrooper. Fucking what about in one of the movies how they got the puppet and he's pouring water on himself because the puppet's not getting it in the mouth? Have you seen that shit?
no.
So in the background of like episode 4 or 5, it's a scene where Han Solo's in a bar on Tatooine, and in the background, because it's all puppets and shit, one of the puppets is drinking out of a jug, but it's not going in his mouth. The water's pouring all over him because it's just a puppet. So in the background, you got this puppet just pouring water on himself, bro. It's fucking great, bro. Fucking great. You know, a lot of those scenes too were just painted with oil.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can't remember. I think it's Empire Strikes Back. There's a scene where one of the ships lands and there's like hundreds of stormtroopers in the hangar. It's a painting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And minifigures too. I think
Yeah,
they
little
used,
toys
like,
on
to
strings
set
and
it up,
shit,
yeah.
bro. Fuck. That is, and I
They
guess
need to redo those. But
Yeah, far out.
modern like Mandalorian, effects.
yeah.
Bruh, come on, man.
fuck yeah, that shit would
There'll
be.
be money in it, man. Like if they're worried about, like I know that's what a business worries about, but 100%, like they should definitely.
But Disney
do
can
that.
afford.
It's from
it now, man.
1970,
Yes, they
bro.
can.
Come
Yeah, that
on,
is
like
old as
it's overdue for. Come on, like,
Yeah, and I know a lot of the like no,
The
don't do it,
oldies,
Don't
but-
imagine the
keep it the
uproar from
same.
that.
Just keep it the same.
no,
just,
Exact
change it.
same, just make it all CGI.
Yeah.
Like and then casting the actors would be a tough one because
No, that's why you make it CGI.
They do deep
Yeah.
fakes. I mean, they did
Yeah.
that with Tarkin. They put the fake because
Yeah.
the actor died. They put same with Leia. They've done that
Yeah.
a couple times.
Wouldn't
They
be
could
hard.
do it. They could definitely do it. Even Luke, like to make him young. Is,
How good was that? That's great.
A lot
that
of people
looked-
didn't like that. Did you
Nah.
think it looked weird?
No, it
No,
looked
no,
great.
it
It
looks-
makes
it looks
sense.
fine
I'd
to
rather
me.
that than just an actor to try and look like him. Who there was a few of them that they
Sebastian
said.
Like I said, the
Stan,
Star Wars
yeah.
community, man, you're all fucking sooks.
They're too
All
picky.
sorts.
Too picky, man.
They're too because a lot of
Doing a
them
good job.
A lot of them too are like all now like 50 years old. So like, but all the young ones too, they just think that the old movies are like owed something. They're not, bro. It's
Nostalgia, man. People
fucking
cling on
20,
to
it's
nostalgia.
2021.
Yeah,
no one gives a shit about a movie from the 1970s anymore. Like no one does.
But that's the thing too with the Star Wars, this new generation of Star Wars. They're kind of taking that Marvel approach because they saw like how Marvel's. It's like they're doing like a Star Wars expanded universe almost. Like how everything's interconnected. They're bringing all the characters from the live action and shit. Like,
That's a good analogy.
and it's a good approach, man. Because I'm not into the Marvel movies. I've never gotten into them, but I think
I love Marvel, and I think the way they connect them is right, and they are taking a very similar approach to how they connect all the movies and little bits. Like, look, even the cartoons, like everything they do in Marvel connects to another movie, and the same thing is could be in Star Wars. They've set it up to exactly
where the
same
shows
thing.
and the movies, like how it's all canon one universe. Like I mean, and they're both Disney.
Yeah.
Disney owns fucking everything. Disney is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I never got into Marvel. I don't
Yeah,
like,
me
I
neither.
don't like
I think I'd
superheroes.
like it, but it's just too much, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I just yeah.
It's good, bro. It's good.
yeah, I would definitely like it, but don't you start with Hulk? Isn't Hulk the first
So
one? And
same thing as you would with your Star Wars. You grab up your thing and it does your map, and there are some movies that you're gonna not like, man. And I don't like a lot of them, but in awe when you watch them all. You're like, this is genius.
I liked Luke Cage. I watched Luke Cage, the show on Netflix a while back. That was a good show.
It's very well done, man. Like it'd be appreciated. But yeah, that's a whole other.
Yeah, that's a whole.
We're already at
different
1:51.
Fucking hell.
We've been rambling on.
Oh my God, we've hit 2 hours.
Are we gonna wrap it?
Wrap it?
Yeah.
Unless you got something else to say.
you
Let's
don't.
check one last question, see
Is
if
there any
anyone.
more,
I
yeah?
don't know. We'll have a look. Probably not.
Doubt it.
I can't believe we got no Star. I'll check. I don't think I've got any Star Wars questions then.
Yeah, just those two.
These are all losers.
Two's better than none. I mean, fucking hell, I wasn't expecting that.
Thanks, Ate. I'm glad you were one of them.
We should have got him on here. You would have appreciated it.
Even Mobsy, like I know.
Shout out Ate, man. Far out.
I know Mobsy's hopeless with but he's another massive Star Wars fan, man. How many times at that St. Clair house did we watch Star Wars on the lounge on a Sunday,
yeah.
bro?
Well, we can do it as much as we want. We can do another one. There's nothing stopping us from, talking Star Wars whenever we want.
Yep.
All right, man. So fucking yeah. All right, boys. That was sick, eh? I feel like there's still so much you can cover.
No,
It's
for
just
sure,
not-
bro.
So if you want to get into it, now's the time. Do it. So, anything else, boys? You want to say?
Well,
No?
the plan. This is episode 10, so it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
We've already been doing this 10 episodes, but every 10th episode to change it up a bit, we kind of want to theme them or maybe do something fun. So we'll try to do that. So
Yeah. What can we do for 20, man?
Anime.
we could do anime, we could do beer pong, just these stuff like that where we just switch up the normal scene a little bit. Like we could be taking shots, have like a drunk episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and talk about some
Whatever, but we'll try to change it up, keep it fresh. But
every question you get, you do a shot.
something like that.
Dang,
Seriously,
Chris.
we could do so much fun stuff. But
Yeah, we'll talk and come up with ideas and stuff like that. Camera died as well, which we got to really fucking
Get a new camera.
Yeah.
we'll get on that too. Upgrade the gear.
Alright. Well, guys, that was episode 10, first milestone, season 1 of FireCast, with Mr.Meegley, who returned.
Return of the Meeks. Thanks for having me back on, guys.
Thanks for coming,
Yes.
lad.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on for the Star Wars
Anytime,
episode,
man.
man.
Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you for the next one, eh?
Peace out.